record-breaking rains has really shown that the landscape out here is prolific. It's so resilient that it was waiting for this rainfall to show us what's up here and being able to look at how much this place actually can provide to people now and to our ancestors of the past. So, it's just amazing to be up here at this exact time. My name's Dave Doyle, I'm Barkmanshire Malyon Carper, and we're sitting up here at Narriara, reconnecting back to the country, using the landscape up here to be able to connect back to our culture in this part of the world. I really enjoy plants, their role within our communities and cultures, and so the traditional ecological knowledge, really fits into that narrative, because it is really about how we respond to landscape and how the landscape responds to us. Plants are probably one of the most underutilised things or under-recognised things in a lot of Aboriginal culture, I think, because we do focus on the big proteins, the kangaroos, the emus, the goannas, those kinds of things, but there's things like plants that sustained us, those things that gave us nutrition, vitamins, minerals, to be able to process a lot of the foods we were eating. Also the medicines, so that's just a small aspect of it. Then there's the artefact making, so the boomerangs, we needed those plants to be able to make clubs, spears, boomerangs, to be able to hunt those bigger proteins, as well as, they're really valuable. They're shelter, they're warmth, insect repellents, and multitudes of things. So weaving into fibres, all comes from plants. Plants are so important, they sustain you not only while they're in flower and in bloom and in seed, but throughout the whole period, because you can store that seed away for later use, So they were quite often put away for that in case of drought, in case there were a lack of other foods around, and quite often used as a protein replacement. Those little grass seeds are really important because they carry lots of the proteins that we talk about, and proteins are good for muscle development, building and sustaining body mass, but also all the good fats that's with it. So whilst they're only small, they actually pack a whole heap of power inside that little seed. You'd have to collect a heap of them. It was an industry. We come across places where there'll be grinding stones spread out all over the ground, and oh yeah, this is a seed grinding area. And people would be just bringing seeds to other people who would sit there all day grinding it down into flour. And it becomes a whole community event then. It's not just a family doing it. People come in from all over the place to sit with each other, process. You're building relationships with your neighbours, probably marrying your kids off to each other, and keeping those strong connections. And then when your country's in a little bit of a bad situation, you've got good neighbours to go across and use some of theirs up, go and borrow a cup of sugar. It's not only the past, it's here and now, and that's one of the things that I really enjoy about being out on country, is being present, because we're not looking at a culture from 20, 40, 60,000 years ago. We're looking at today, we're looking at tomorrow. Since colonisation, we've already lost so many of those plants. Some of those knowledges are now sitting, waiting to be refound or re-established. And it's all about that continuation of culture. We're the oldest continuing culture in the world, and it didn't stop at colonisation, it's still going now. A lot of the plants up here are quite familiar to me from back home, up down at Menindee. And like at the moment I'm sitting under a coolabah tree, and I could be on the river at home sitting under a coolabah tree, but it's actually a completely different environment. Some of the grasses around here that are the same, the native spinach that grows around here, some of the bush medicines, some of the sandalwood trees around here are still in our country. But then there's some things that are completely new to me. So part of the process for me is to look at them, take a piece of it, take good photos, grab my iPad out and go through it. It's part of my journey and learning is looking and researching what is it, what's it actually do for us, and then start promoting that. We use this is what it's for, this is what it helps with. And I use the social media platforms to get that information out, because I want people to know about them. And it's just like a garden. I encourage people to go pick it, because same as at home, you prune a plant and it comes back, it's better for it. They actually want to be picked, they want to be utilised. So it's up to us then to keep it going.